such a great talk with Ellen, but if we could just segue into residential here a bit. First of all, thank you for the tour. That was amazing, seeing this technology on the floor, and some of those processes were just mind-blowing, and I'm not going to forget that. You just mentioned something really interesting, right? First of all, you mentioned how going to market's kind of the tough part and what you have to do there, and of course commercial and residential are two different things. And then you use the analogy with the large screen TVs, right? Mm-hmm. The 65-inch costing. But we also know that an 80-inch TV doesn't fit every room. Yeah. On the residential side, of course, the wall to window ratio is much lower than it is on commercial. Yeah. Is that a major obstacle? The cost benefits, the thermal benefits on the residential side, since you're not talking about such massive expanses of glass.
Oh no, it is because the edge effect in vacuum glazing, has a bigger effect the smaller the daylight opening. And so that was another reason why we picked commercial first, is you have big units. And so the total window impact for our value is much greater on commercial. Okay, and so when you look today, what's interesting, we do residential and our average unit size is almost 24 square feet. Mm. So think about that. The US average is like 10, right? 10 square feet, and we're 24. So we're doing bigger windows that are going in bigger homes. So right now, even we're seeing it in residential today, we're more dominant in large openings.
That makes sense.
Yeah, in the beginning, but I think I think residential is driven more by the cost. Right. That as the price point comes down, then now you're able to open residential.
And of course, there's quite a conflict currently in the residential market where you have builders saying we can't afford to put in better windows, better glass, because they're already facing affordability issues. So that's a tough bit of timing, I would imagine, but also you're focusing on retrofit and commercial. On the residential side, retrofit is of course more complicated because it's not just the glass performance, it's the seals. So if the seals aren't good, why replace the glass, right? So are you focusing more on new product on the residential side?
Yes, when you look even residential and then commercial window, there's a lot of aluminum commercial windows producers. So there we're focusing on, the main thing is putting in thermal directly into the window versus putting in a hybrid. Right. Because that's it lowers the cost, and it's also a little bit of a shift because now they can put in thinner profiled windows. So we actually have several window companies that are designing new low profile frames because our product is so thin.
Specifically for VIG. And also one of the ones that we've heard the most about maybe early on, historical.
Yes.
Right? And keeping that, because you can put it in place of single pane.
Yes.
What is the primary target? So on the residential side, again, there's a pull-through effect that we talk about, where who is it that's specifying the windows, and architects are not involved in every project. So what's your target there when you're trying to get to market?
For right now, we're focused on the architect specified.
Okay.
Okay, because they see the value. If someone's hiring an architect, it's a higher price point, and then they're willing to, they can do more with our product that changes the design of the home.
Interesting.
So, just right now, from an economics and from where we're at scale-wise, it makes sense to focus there.
And of course, one of the things you spoke with Ellen about was, the end game here and making it a standard, right? And on the residential side, do you see it going that far? Do you see this in a standard builder grade double hung window? Is that a possibility?
In the future, I think it's a ways off. Because we've talked to a lot of the large builders, and what's interesting is we will be doing some test homes with two. Because what we're finding is people want more light, more windows, but they can't put more windows in to meet code. Right. And so one builder we're working with can save insulation, they can save HVAC sizing. So, they're doing an analysis that's kind of like on a glass only retrofit for commercial is, in the end, are we more expensive?
For the window manufacturer and door manufacturer, I guess because we talked about the thickness of the product, and we know you and I talked previously about how everyone's accustomed to double pane. We never kind of went mass market with triple pane per se, not as a standard, but double. And so you have different ways of making that work, and you mentioned hybrid and how that's not. But these manufacturers, they have to adjust their processes, I'm assuming, for
Yes.
manufacturing. Is it an entirely new line that they're producing?
Well, you see, and that's part of the challenge, because if it's like wood, you can change the wood stop.
Good
So
point.
that one is easier. If it's fiberglass, pultrusion, it's new dies.
Right.
If it's PVC, it's new dies or it's snap-in inserts. Aluminum, they can put in a reducer. Okay, so wood is the easiest, then aluminum, then vinyl, and then fiberglass is the most challenging. So we have some window companies where they redesigned it for wood and wood clad and aluminum, but not fiberglass or PVC.
Is it difficult? This is still by glass, but when it comes to glass, this is kind of a space age material, right?
Yeah.
So on the residential side, is that a tough thing to?
Oh yeah, I mean it's because now people are more discerning. So then there's more questions about pillars. There's more questions about a cap or other features of the product.
Yeah.
So yeah, it is. It's a little bit space age.
And I always think of that installer level of the industry and transportation, shipping, handling. Any differences there? Is this product handled and shipped?
Well, no,
similarly?
it's better for shipping because you ship less air or less argon. Because if you have a 25 millimeter IGU and we're shipping an 8 millimeter for residential, you're getting 2 to 3 units in the same trucking slot as a regular insulated glass unit.
And it's lighter for the installer, I would imagine.
Well, it depends upon the installation, because in some cases, if they're using 2.5 or 3 millimeter glass, we will be a little heavier because the thinnest we go is 4. So in some cases, we're a little heavier.
Is that right?
Yeah, in some cases we're not. So it's kind of a mix.
So I'll make this my last question, but we know we've had so many technologies. This has kind of been the era of new glass technologies on the residential side, right? And some of these are not new. It's just that they're really truly coming to market. Thin triple and standard triple pane is starting to, have more market share just because it's being used more as coats. And your product, what's the competition look like there in terms of cost and performance? Are you on the high end of the whole spectrum, or are you kind of in a battle with triple pane?
Well, no, I mean, right now, because we're quoting weekly, and in many cases, we're less than triple.